Hey, creative folks! It's 11:58 in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm not having another beautiful cup of coffee. In fact, I'm terribly decaffeinated and I don't like it. But thankfully, we have a special guest today, composer Mert Moralı from Berlin, visiting me, who's drinking coffee instead.
Yes. Hello.
How do you like your
Hello,
coffee?
folks. Oh, wait. Let me just give a shot. Okay. Yeah, that's a damn good coffee. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like
I'm jealous.
standards,
I'm jealous. All I can do is smell
like
now.
smell. Just go for it.
Ah, the smell is really good. The smell is, I love it. And today we have a special presentation. We invented this little algorithm called Coffeeshop Decision Maker, and it came to us while we were searching for coffee shops. He was visiting, and I wanted to show him the best coffee here in the neighborhood. But I never can decide. I have decision problems in life, and especially because there are so many coffee shops here in the neighborhood.
There's so many good,
Good coffee shops. So actually, he had a great idea. You wanna talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, as you know, as he was saying, like we were just walking on the streets of Brooklyn, and just every corner you've got a really good coffee shop, and he's been mentioning about his like overall issues of like choosing which one to go. I said, you know what? Why don't we just patch it? Let's see, just randomize it, and just like have this algorithm choosing that instead of us. So plus with that kind of randomness, one can also just go perhaps beyond the like the overall habits he or she has, and I don't know, like how you position yourself about this habitus. You're a person of like who actually wants to stick with his own habit. Is it helpful for you, do you think, or?
Yeah, I always have problems because of this decision problems. I tend to do always the same thing. Always go to the same coffee shop.
Yeah,
and it kind of loses some variety, and
right.
But it's a good way to know you focus, especially as an artist. You don't want to waste too much time like on these like everyday decisions.
A little bit of controlled chaos is what an artist needs, I think. You don't have to think about that, as you said. Just it's there, and you can still go beyond. You can rely on that you will go beyond, while still you can keep your creative work.
Exactly,
ongoing.
and you create a machine. It just makes the decisions for you, and you still have variety. You especially have more variety in different kind of tastes, but at the same time you don't have to think about it. Okay, enough about this. Let's present. Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit about this patch here. So I wanted to, since this is actually not that complex, I'd say, so I wanted to introduce like a few different libraries here. So the best way to do something like this in Max, there are always different ways. I have here two different ways. One, there's this CL scramble object, which basically just reorders a list. So here, first of all, here we have the list of coffee shops, right? As a message, and then here it just scrambles the coffee shops, and here we choose the first element of the list. So that would be one way, right? Here, another way would be to make a random object to get the length of the list. So then that way get the index, and then index the list, and so get the kind of, here you have a random number, which 1, 2, and then you get that element of the list in that position. And that way, it's basically the same thing. Next, I wanted to introduce, probably many know this already, the Bach library is an amazing library for computer-aided composition. Yeah. If you're into that stuff, you should definitely check out Bach. And here, there's already a function. We don't need to do any primitive work. Bach random just takes a list and chooses a random element. You can also here choose how many elements. We want only one, so 1. And next, I wanted to show you a library created by Julien Vincenot. It's actually my favorite library, and I really, by this way, I want to say thank you. I love this library. It's called MOZ'Lib, but what I use is mainly this PV for Max, which lets you basically use, if you ever kind of know something about computer-aided composition libraries, Open Music or PVLG, all these functions are kind of collected and can be used in Max MSP. And the heart of this library is basically a way to evaluate Lisp code, because all these languages, they're based on the programming language Lisp. So what it basically does, it just takes Lisp code and evaluates it here. So here I made this by patching. I made some functions here. Lisp works a little bit different. It works with lists, so you need to wrap it into a list, quote it, because we get into that, why that, but and then they have already a function similar to Bach, that can choose a random element. Let's look actually at the Lisp code here. So just an interesting thing, if you like a general interesting thing about this language Lisp is that both data and functions kind of have the same structure. So they are both lists, so they are exchangeable, and that's why we need this quote. So here, that's a quote that tells us that this is data, those are the coffee shops, and here this is the function, because otherwise, if you type in anything, Lisp always thinks the first thing is we type here is a function, right? So this is a function, and if we now write blue bottle, of course, there's no function like that, so it will be display an error. That's why we need this quote. Yeah, all basic stuff, but are fun things to play around with and to help with our daily decision making.
Yes, precisely.
Maybe it helps too. Yeah, enough for today. Keep drinking coffee, even though I didn't. I have to say, I only did it because my doctor told me to, but I really don't like it. So keep drinking coffee. See you all next Sunday, folks.
Bye.